Have you ever noticed that the harder you chase something, the more it seems to run away from you? Love becomes distant. Success feels delayed. Peace disappears. The mind grows restless, desperate, exhausted. Most people spend their lives gripping too tightly to things they fear losing, never realizing that their attachment is the very thing pushing those desires away. The Stoics understood a truth that changes everything. When you stop obsessing over what you want, you become calm, powerful, and magnetic. What belongs to you flows naturally when your mind is no longer chained by desperation. In this video, you will discover why letting go is not weakness, but one of the greatest forms of strength ever practiced. Watch closely, because this mindset can completely transform the way you live, think, and attract success. There is a strange law of life that many people never understand. The more desperate you are for approval, the less respected you become. The more obsessed you are with being loved, the more anxious you appear. The more you force success, the more pressure destroys your clarity. Stoicism teaches that attachment creates suffering because your happiness becomes dependent on something outside your control. And once your peace depends on external things, fear enters your mind. The Stoic does not beg life to go a certain way. Instead, they focus on mastering themselves. They understand that peace is not found in controlling outcomes, but in controlling reactions. This is why calm people often achieve more than desperate people. Calmness creates focus. Focus creates confidence. Confidence attracts opportunities naturally. Think about the moments in your life when things finally worked out. Many times, it happened after you stopped forcing them. After you stopped overthinking. After you released the fear of losing. Suddenly doors opened. Conversations became easier. Your energy changed. This happens because desperation clouds judgment, while detachment sharpens it. People are naturally drawn to those who are emotionally balanced. Nobody feels comfortable around someone who constantly seeks validation. But a person who is calm, centered, and secure without approval creates a powerful presence. Stoicism teaches you to become that person. Not cold. Not emotionless. But emotionally disciplined. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that happiness exists somewhere in the future. They say, I will be happy when I become rich. I will be happy when they love me back. I will be happy when life becomes perfect. But the Stoics warn against this dangerous way of thinking. If happiness always depends on the future, you will never truly live in the present. The present moment is the only place life exists. When your mind constantly chases what is missing, you ignore what is already here. Gratitude disappears. Joy disappears. Inner peace disappears. Stoicism teaches that fulfillment begins when you stop chasing life and start experiencing it fully. This does not mean you stop having goals. Stoicism is not about laziness or lack of ambition. It is about removing emotional dependence from the outcome. Work hard, but do not let success define your worth. Love deeply, but do not lose yourself in another person. Build your dreams, but do not destroy your peace trying to control every result. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that external things are temporary. Wealth can disappear. Fame fades. People change. Circumstances shift without warning. But your character, your discipline, and your mindset remain your true possessions. This is why Stoics focus more on inner mastery than outer rewards. Many people suffer not because life is difficult, but because they resist reality. They fight what already happened. They replay painful memories. They fear uncertain futures. They demand that life obey their expectations. But reality does not bend to emotion. Stoicism teaches acceptance, not as surrender, but as wisdom. When you accept reality calmly, your mind becomes lighter. Energy that was once wasted on resistance becomes available for action. Instead of complaining, you adapt. Instead of panicking, you think clearly. Instead of forcing outcomes, you position yourself wisely and allow life to unfold naturally. There is incredible power in silence. Desperate people talk too much because they want reassurance. Secure people move quietly because they trust themselves. Stoicism teaches restraint. You do not need to announce every goal. You do not need to prove your value to everyone. Real confidence does not scream for attention. When you stop trying so hard to impress people, something unexpected happens. You become more authentic. Your conversations become natural. Your energy becomes relaxed. People begin to feel your confidence instead of hearing you explain it. This quiet strength is rare in today's world, and that rarity makes it powerful. Modern society trains people to chase endlessly. More money, more attention, more followers, more validation. But the Stoics would ask an important question: how much is enough? A person who constantly wants more can never rest. Desire without control becomes a prison. Freedom begins when you learn to enjoy things without becoming attached to them. You can appreciate success without fearing failure. You can enjoy relationships without losing your identity. You can pursue goals without sacrificing your mental peace. This balance is the heart of Stoic wisdom. Epictetus taught that suffering comes from trying to control what is not ours to control. You cannot control other people's opinions. You cannot control every event. You cannot control how quickly success arrives. But you can control your mindset, your actions, and your response to difficulty. This realization changes everything. Instead of wasting energy on external chaos, you focus inward. You strengthen discipline. You sharpen patience. You build emotional resilience. Over time, you become harder to disturb. And once your peace no longer depends on outside conditions, you gain a level of freedom most people never experience. Many people ruin opportunities because they are too emotionally attached to the result. Anxiety makes them impatient. Fear makes them needy. Overthinking makes them hesitate. But when you detach from the outcome, you perform better. Your mind becomes clearer. Your actions become smoother. You stop operating from fear and start operating from confidence. Think of an archer aiming at a target. If the archer becomes obsessed with hitting perfectly, tension enters the body. The hands shake. Focus weakens. But when the archer relaxes and trusts the process, accuracy improves. Life works the same way. Stoicism teaches trust in effort rather than obsession with results. Plant the seed. Water it consistently. But do not dig it up every day to check if it is growing. Patience is part of wisdom. Some people spend years trying to force relationships that are not meant for them. They chase attention, beg for affection, and lose themselves trying to be chosen. Stoicism teaches something different. The right people are drawn to authenticity, not desperation. When you stop chasing validation, you become more attractive because you radiate self-respect. You stop fearing rejection. You stop pretending to be someone else. You become comfortable with your own company. And that confidence changes the way people see you. The Stoics believe that peace comes from alignment with nature. Nature does not rush. The sun rises without anxiety. Trees grow without panic. Rivers flow without forcing themselves. Yet everything arrives in its proper time. Human beings suffer because they constantly rush against life. Sometimes, the greatest transformation happens when you stop forcing timing. Not every opportunity is meant for now. Not every delay is punishment. Some seasons are preparing you quietly for what is ahead. Stoicism teaches patience because wisdom understands timing cannot always be controlled. A calm mind sees opportunities that an anxious mind misses. When emotions dominate your thinking, you react impulsively. But when your mind is balanced, your judgment improves. This is why Stoics train emotional discipline daily. They know emotions are powerful servants but dangerous masters. Detachment also protects you from disappointment. This does not mean becoming cold-hearted. It means understanding that life is unpredictable. People may leave. Plans may fail. Expectations may collapse. But your inner stability should remain stronger than external events. Imagine the strength of waking up each day without fear controlling your decisions. Imagine no longer needing constant approval to feel valuable. Imagine working toward your goals with confidence instead of desperation. This is the freedom Stoicism offers. The world respects people who remain composed under pressure. Anyone can appear confident when life is easy. But true strength appears during uncertainty. The Stoic trains for these moments by practicing calmness before chaos arrives. Your energy changes when you stop clinging. Conversations feel lighter. Your presence becomes calmer. Your decisions become smarter. You stop acting from panic and start acting from clarity. Ironically, this is often when opportunities finally begin to appear. Many people confuse attachment with passion. But passion without control becomes emotional slavery. Stoicism teaches disciplined desire. Care deeply about your purpose, but never allow your peace to depend entirely on outcomes. There is a powerful difference between wanting something and needing it for your identity. The moment you believe you need external success to feel complete, fear takes control. But when you already feel whole within yourself, success becomes an addition rather than a necessity. This is why some people achieve success yet remain miserable. They spent years chasing goals while neglecting inner peace. Stoicism reminds us that external achievements mean little if the mind remains restless. One of the greatest lessons you can learn is this: life flows better when your hands are open instead of clenched. Closed fists cannot receive. An anxious mind cannot think clearly. A desperate heart cannot love freely. The Stoic approach is simple but powerful. Do your best. Remain disciplined. Accept uncertainty. Let go of obsession. Trust the process of life. And most importantly, protect your peace at all costs. If this message spoke to you, subscribe to the channel and join a community dedicated to strength, discipline, wisdom, and inner peace. More powerful Stoic lessons are coming that can completely transform your mindset and your life. Most people spend their entire lives reacting emotionally to everything around them. One negative comment ruins their mood. One rejection destroys their confidence. One delay fills them with anxiety. They become prisoners of circumstances because they never learned how to govern their minds. Stoicism teaches that the quality of your life depends less on what happens to you and more on how you respond to it. The moment you stop needing every situation to go perfectly, you gain emotional freedom. You stop collapsing under pressure. You stop fearing temporary setbacks. Instead, you begin to move through life with stability. This inner calm becomes one of your greatest advantages because while others panic, you remain focused. There is something powerful about a person who no longer needs to prove themselves. They do not chase attention. They do not compete for validation. They do not beg to be understood. Their confidence comes from within, not from applause. Stoicism teaches that self-worth built on external approval is fragile, because people's opinions change constantly. The person who depends on praise will also fear criticism. But the Stoic understands that neither praise nor criticism defines character. What matters is living according to principles, discipline, and truth. Once you understand this deeply, you stop giving strangers the power to control your emotions. Many people think they are pursuing happiness, but what they are really pursuing is distraction. They fill every moment with noise because silence forces them to confront themselves. The Stoics valued solitude because it reveals the condition of the mind. A person uncomfortable alone is often a person dependent on external stimulation. When you learn to enjoy your own company, your entire energy changes. You no longer enter relationships out of loneliness. You no longer chase attention to feel important. You stop fearing silence because peace begins to grow within you. This kind of emotional independence is rare, and that rarity creates strength. One of the hardest truths to accept is that not everyone will appreciate you. No matter how kind you are, some people will misunderstand you. No matter how talented you become, some people will envy you. No matter how honest you are, some people will criticize you. Stoicism teaches acceptance of this reality. Trying to make everyone like you is exhausting because it forces you to abandon your authenticity. The Stoic chooses respect over approval. They focus on living honorably rather than being universally admired. Ironically, people often respect those who are least desperate for acceptance. There is also wisdom in understanding that life owes you nothing. Many people suffer because they feel entitled to perfect outcomes. They believe hard work guarantees success immediately. They believe kindness guarantees loyalty. They believe effort guarantees fairness. But life does not always operate according to our expectations. The Stoics prepared themselves mentally for disappointment, not because they were pessimists, but because preparation creates resilience. When difficulties arrived, they were not shocked by reality. They adapted quickly and moved forward without self-pity. This mindset gives you incredible emotional power. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin asking, "How can I grow through this?" Every obstacle becomes training. Every setback becomes a lesson. Every hardship becomes an opportunity to strengthen character. People often admire strength without understanding the suffering that created it. Calmness is usually built through pain. Wisdom is usually built through mistakes. Discipline is usually built through struggle. Stoicism does not promise an easy life. It teaches you how to become stronger than your circumstances. There will be moments when life tests your patience. Moments when things do not happen as quickly as you hoped. Moments when people disappoint you deeply. In those moments, desperation will tempt you to force outcomes. But Stoicism reminds you to remain steady. The strongest people are not always the loudest or the most aggressive. Often, the strongest people are those who can remain calm under pressure. They think before reacting. They control impulses. They refuse to allow emotions to dominate their decisions. Your mind becomes clearer when you stop chasing everything at once. Modern life constantly pushes people toward endless comparison. Social media convinces people they are behind. They compare their success, relationships, appearance, and achievements to others every day. This creates anxiety, envy, and dissatisfaction. The Stoics warned against comparison because it steals peace. Your journey is different from everyone else's. Your timing is different. Your path is different. Comparing your life constantly to others blinds you to your own progress. A person obsessed with comparison can never truly enjoy success because someone else will always appear ahead. But a Stoic measures success differently. Success is not about defeating others. It is about mastering yourself. Self-mastery means controlling your reactions when anger rises. It means remaining disciplined when distractions appear. It means continuing forward when motivation disappears. Anyone can act wisely when emotions are calm. True character appears during difficulty. Many people wait for motivation before taking action. Stoicism teaches the opposite. Discipline matters more than motivation because emotions change constantly. Some days you will feel inspired. Other days you will feel exhausted. But discipline allows you to continue regardless of mood. This is why Stoics value routines and habits. Small, consistent actions shape destiny more than occasional bursts of emotion. A calm, disciplined mind achieves far more than a chaotic, emotional mind. Another important lesson of Stoicism is understanding impermanence. Everything in life changes. Youth fades. Seasons shift. Relationships evolve. Success rises and falls. Nothing external lasts forever. People suffer because they try to hold on to temporary things as if they can never change. But once you accept impermanence, fear begins to lose its power. You appreciate moments without becoming attached to them. You enjoy success without arrogance. You experience love without trying to possess people. You understand that life is temporary, and that awareness makes every moment more meaningful. There is freedom in accepting uncertainty. Many people try to control every detail of life because uncertainty scares them. But no amount of worrying can guarantee perfect outcomes. Stoicism teaches preparation instead of panic. Prepare your mind. Strengthen your character. Improve your actions. Then face the future with courage instead of fear. Worrying endlessly about what might happen only steals energy from the present. The Stoics also believed that adversity reveals truth. Hardship exposes weak habits, false friendships, and emotional weaknesses. Difficult moments show you who you really are. While comfort hides flaws, struggle reveals them clearly. This is why obstacles can become valuable teachers. They force growth. They build resilience. They sharpen perspective. A person who has endured difficulty with wisdom becomes far stronger than someone who has only known comfort. Sometimes life removes people or opportunities because they no longer align with your growth. At first, this feels painful. But later, you realize certain losses protected your future. Stoicism teaches trust in the unfolding of life even when you do not fully understand it yet. When you stop clinging desperately to outcomes, you stop living in fear. Fear of rejection weakens. Fear of failure weakens. Fear of judgment weakens. You begin making decisions from confidence instead of insecurity. This calm confidence changes how you walk, speak, think, and live. People notice it immediately because genuine inner peace is rare in a world addicted to chaos and validation. Remember this carefully: chasing is often a sign of inner emptiness. But when you build peace within yourself, you stop begging life to complete you. You become complete first, and from that completeness, better opportunities naturally enter your life. If you are still watching, subscribe to the channel for more Stoic wisdom that can strengthen your mind, sharpen your discipline, and transform the way you see life. The strongest version of yourself is built through wisdom, patience, and inner control. One of the greatest illusions people believe is that controlling everything will make them feel safe. They try to control conversations, relationships, outcomes, and even the opinions of others. But the more they try to control life, the more anxious they become. Stoicism teaches that peace begins where control ends. You were never meant to carry the burden of controlling everything around you. Some things will happen exactly as planned. Others will collapse without warning. Some people will stay loyal. Others will leave unexpectedly. The Stoic accepts this reality without becoming bitter. Acceptance is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is the understanding that fighting reality only multiplies suffering. A storm does not stop because you complain about the rain. Life does not change because you resist what already exists. But when you accept reality calmly, your mind becomes free to respond intelligently. Many people waste years trying to become someone they think others will admire. They hide their true personality. They silence their real thoughts. They perform constantly for approval. Over time, this creates exhaustion because pretending is heavy. Stoicism teaches authenticity. The Stoic does not shape their identity around public opinion. They focus on living truthfully and honorably. They understand that a peaceful mind is worth more than temporary validation. There is tremendous power in becoming emotionally self-sufficient. This does not mean isolating yourself from people. It means your emotional stability no longer depends entirely on how others treat you. Compliments no longer inflate your ego. Criticism no longer destroys your confidence. This balance creates freedom. When you stop depending on external reactions for self-worth, you become more grounded. Your mood becomes stable. Your focus improves. Your relationships become healthier because they are built on connection rather than emotional dependence. A desperate person fears losing everything. A Stoic appreciates everything while understanding nothing lasts forever. This awareness changes the way you experience life. Instead of clinging tightly, you learn to flow with change. Think about how much suffering comes from attachment. People replay old memories because they cannot accept the past. They stay trapped in unhealthy relationships because they fear loneliness. They refuse new opportunities because uncertainty frightens them. Attachment often disguises itself as love, loyalty, or ambition, but beneath it is usually fear. Stoicism teaches courage in letting go. Sometimes growth requires releasing what no longer serves you. Old habits, old fears, old identities, even certain people. Letting go creates space for transformation. The strongest minds understand that endings are part of life. Every season eventually changes. Some chapters must close for better ones to begin. Fighting these transitions only prolongs pain. There is also wisdom in slowing down. Modern society glorifies constant hustle and endless productivity. People feel guilty for resting. They rush through life without truly experiencing it. Stoicism reminds you that a calm mind is more valuable than constant busyness. When your mind is always distracted, clarity disappears. But in stillness, truth becomes easier to see. This is why Stoics valued reflection. They took time to examine their thoughts, actions, and emotions carefully. Most people react impulsively because they never pause long enough to think deeply. Anger controls them instantly. Fear controls them instantly. Desire controls them instantly. But the Stoic creates space between emotion and action. That small pause changes everything. Instead of reacting blindly, you respond wisely. Instead of speaking words you regret, you choose restraint. Instead of making emotional decisions, you think clearly. This emotional discipline protects your peace and your future. One of the most dangerous habits is overthinking. The mind creates endless imaginary problems. It replays conversations repeatedly. It predicts disasters that may never happen. Overthinking drains energy without solving anything. Stoicism teaches action over endless worry. If something can be improved, work on it calmly. If something cannot be controlled, release it. Carrying unnecessary mental burdens only weakens your spirit. Many people miss opportunities because fear convinces them they are not ready. But confidence rarely appears before action. Confidence is built through action. The Stoics understood that courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is acting wisely despite fear. Every challenge you avoid strengthens fear. Every challenge you face weakens it. Growth requires discomfort. Strength requires resistance. Wisdom requires experience. Life becomes lighter when you stop needing perfection. Perfectionism traps people in constant dissatisfaction. Nothing ever feels good enough. They criticize themselves endlessly. They delay action because they fear mistakes. But Stoicism teaches progress instead of perfection. Improvement matters more than flawless performance. Mistakes are not proof of failure. They are part of learning. The person who learns calmly from errors grows stronger than the person who fears making them. There is also freedom in humility. Ego creates unnecessary suffering because it constantly seeks superiority. It wants recognition. It wants dominance. It wants to appear important. But the Stoics warn that ego blinds judgment. A humble person learns faster because they are open to growth. They do not waste energy pretending to know everything. They listen carefully. They observe quietly. They improve consistently. Sometimes the reason life feels heavy is because your mind is carrying too much that no longer matters. Old anger. Old disappointments. Old regrets. Stoicism teaches that carrying the past endlessly poisons the present. You cannot rewrite yesterday. But you can choose how you move forward today. Every new moment gives you another chance to think differently, act differently, and live differently. Forgiveness is also part of inner peace. Not because people always deserve forgiveness, but because hatred keeps your mind chained to pain. The Stoic understands that bitterness harms the person carrying it more than the person receiving it. This does not mean allowing disrespect or accepting mistreatment. Boundaries remain important. But you release hatred because your peace matters more than revenge. One of the deepest forms of strength is remaining kind in a harsh world without becoming weak. Stoicism is not about becoming emotionless. It is about mastering emotions instead of being mastered by them. You can be compassionate without being naive. You can be confident without arrogance. You can be disciplined without becoming cold. Balance is the foundation of wisdom. As you grow mentally stronger, you will notice something interesting. Fewer things disturb you. Small dramas lose importance. The need to impress people fades. Silence becomes comfortable. Solitude becomes peaceful. Your mind becomes less chaotic. This transformation does not happen overnight. It happens through daily discipline, through self-awareness, through practicing calmness repeatedly even when life becomes difficult. Remember this. The person who controls their mind controls their life. External events will always remain uncertain. But inner stability creates strength no chaos can easily destroy. The Stoics believe that true wealth is not measured by possessions, but by how little you need to feel complete. A person constantly craving more will never feel satisfied. But a person who appreciates what they already have experiences peace more often. Gratitude changes perspective. Instead of focusing endlessly on what is missing, you begin recognizing what is already valuable in your life. This simple shift creates emotional abundance. When you stop chasing desperately, life begins to feel different. Your energy becomes calmer. Your thoughts become clearer. your actions become wiser. And ironically, many of the things you once forced begin arriving naturally. If this message inspired you, subscribe to the channel and continue this journey into Stoic wisdom, discipline, and emotional mastery. More life-changing lessons are coming, and each one can help you build a stronger, calmer, and more powerful mind. Most people believe strength is loud. They think powerful people are always aggressive, always dominant, always speaking the most. But Stoicism teaches a different kind of strength. Real power is often quiet. It is the ability to remain calm when others lose control. It is the ability to stay disciplined when emotions demand impulsive action. Anyone can react emotionally. Anyone can explode in anger. Anyone can panic under pressure. But very few people can remain composed during chaos. This composure is not weakness. It is mastery. The Stoics understood that emotional reactions often create more damage than the original problem itself. A moment of uncontrolled anger can destroy years of trust. A decision made from fear can create lifelong regret. This is why Stoics train themselves to pause before reacting. That pause gives wisdom room to enter. Imagine how different your life becomes when emotions no longer control every decision. You stop sending messages out of desperation. You stop arguing to protect your ego. You stop making choices based purely on temporary feelings. Instead, your actions begin to align with reason and purpose. This level of self-control creates respect. People trust those who remain stable during difficulty. They feel safe around people who do not collapse emotionally under pressure. Calmness becomes a form of silent authority. There is also a hidden strength in patience. Modern culture trains people to expect everything immediately. Fast success. Instant validation. Immediate results. But life rarely works that way. The strongest things in life often take time to build. A tree does not become massive overnight. Wisdom does not appear instantly. Deep confidence is not created in one day. Stoicism teaches patience because meaningful growth requires time. Many people abandon their goals too early because they become frustrated by slow progress. They compare themselves to others and assume they are failing. But progress is often invisible before it becomes obvious. Every disciplined action matters, even when results are not immediate. Every moment of self-control strengthens character. Every difficult situation handled with wisdom builds inner power. Over time, these small moments transform your entire life. The Stoic focuses on consistency rather than intensity. Intensity fades quickly. Consistency changes destiny. There will be days when motivation disappears completely. Days when life feels heavy. Days when doubts become loud. During those moments, discipline matters more than emotion. The Stoic continues moving forward even without perfect feelings. This is one of the greatest differences between weak minds and strong minds. Weak minds only act when emotions feel comfortable. Strong minds act according to principles regardless of mood. Your future is shaped by what you repeatedly do, not by what you occasionally feel. Another important Stoic lesson is learning how to handle criticism wisely. Many people become emotionally destroyed by the opinions of others. A single insult stays in their mind for days. Negative comments consume their peace. But Stoicism teaches that criticism should be examined calmly, not feared emotionally. If the criticism is true, improve yourself. If it is false, ignore it. Either way, there is no reason to lose peace over it. People will always have opinions. Some will misunderstand you completely. Some will judge you unfairly. Some will dislike you for reasons that have nothing to do with you. The Stoic accepts this reality without becoming bitter. Trying to control how everyone sees you is impossible. But controlling your own character is possible. And that is where your focus should remain. There is something incredibly freeing about no longer needing universal approval. You stop shrinking yourself to fit into every room. You stop pretending to avoid rejection. You stop explaining yourself endlessly to people committed to misunderstanding you. The Stoic understands that authenticity attracts the right people while filtering out the wrong ones. Many people are exhausted because they carry emotional burdens they were never meant to carry. They replay painful memories repeatedly. They worry endlessly about future possibilities. Their minds rarely rest. Stoicism teaches presence. The present moment is where your life actually exists. The past cannot be changed. The future cannot be fully controlled. But your actions right now still matter. When your attention constantly lives in regret or anxiety, peace becomes impossible. But when you return your focus to the present, your mind becomes calmer and clearer. This is why gratitude is powerful. Gratitude pulls your attention back to what already exists instead of obsessing over what is missing. A person who constantly focuses on lack will never feel satisfied. But a person who appreciates simple things often experiences more peace than someone with endless possessions. The Stoics believe that true wealth comes from needing less, not endlessly having more. Desire without limits creates permanent dissatisfaction. No achievement will ever feel enough for a mind addicted to comparison and craving. But when you simplify your desires, life becomes lighter. Peace becomes easier to access. You stop running endlessly toward things that never truly satisfy the soul. There is also wisdom in accepting that pain is part of life. Many people suffer twice because they not only experience pain, but also resist it emotionally. They ask, "Why me?" They feel betrayed by difficulty itself. But Stoicism teaches that hardship is part of the human experience. No life is free from loss, disappointment, uncertainty, or struggle. Accepting this truth does not make you pessimistic. It makes you resilient. The strongest people are not those who avoided hardship. They are those who learn how to endure hardship without losing themselves. Pain can either harden your bitterness or deepen your wisdom. The choice depends on how you respond to it. Sometimes life removes comfort so you can discover strength. Sometimes delays teach patience. Sometimes failure teaches humility. Sometimes rejection redirects your path towards something better. The Stoic trusts that even difficult experiences can contain hidden lessons. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is realizing that your thoughts shape much of your suffering. Two people can experience the same event and react completely differently because their interpretations differ. This means peace is not found only in changing external circumstances. Often, peace begins by changing perspective. A setback becomes training. A delay becomes preparation. A mistake becomes education. The Stoic mind searches for wisdom instead of self-pity. As your mindset changes, your life changes with it. You begin wasting less energy on things beyond your control. You stop needing constant reassurance. You stop reacting emotionally to every challenge. Instead, you become more grounded, thoughtful, and disciplined. This inner transformation is what makes Stoicism timeless. It teaches you how to remain stable in an unstable world. And perhaps the greatest lesson of all is this: you already possess more strength than you realize. Most people underestimate themselves because comfort never forced them to discover their deeper resilience. But every challenge you survive reveals something important. You are stronger than fear told you, wiser than doubt suggested, more capable than anxiety allowed you to believe. The moment you stop chasing desperately and start mastering yourself, life begins to change in unexpected ways. Peace replaces panic. Clarity replaces confusion. Confidence replaces insecurity. And from that inner stability, true success begins to grow naturally. If you are enjoying this journey into Stoic wisdom, subscribe to the channel and continue learning how to build mental strength, emotional discipline, and lasting inner peace. Your strongest self is created one disciplined thought at a time.